Ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, to start off the press conference this evening, I hereby call upon Datuk Sri Leow Tiong Lai, Minister of Transport, to deliver his statement. Sir, if you please do us the honor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, today Malaysia Airlines have released the final list of nationalities on board flight MH17. Each of the numbers represent a life lost and a family in anguish. After this press conference, Malaysian Airlines will release the full passengers manifest. Malaysia mourns the loss of all 298 passengers and crew. We feel for their families, and we promise to do all we can to ensure that the investigation is completed and justice is done. On an investigation, Malaysia is deeply concerned that the crash site has not been properly secured. The integrity of the site has been compromised, and there are indications that vital evidence has not been preserved in place. Interfering with the scene of the crash risks undermining the investigation itself. Any action that prevents us from learning the truth about what happened to MH17 cannot be tolerated. Failure to stop such interference would be a betrayal of the lives that we lost. Malaysia calls for all parties to protect the integrity of the crash site and to allow the investigation to proceed. We urge all those involved to respect the families and the nations who have lost their sons and daughters in this attack. Yes, MH17 has become a geopolitical issue, but we must not forget that it is a human tragedy. Since the plane went down, the remains of 298 people lie uncovered. Citizens of 11 nations, none of whom are involved in the conflicts in eastern Ukraine, cannot be laid to rest. Their lives were taken by violence. Now violence stopped them being accorded their final respect. This cannot continue. On deployment, earlier today, Malaysia's special team arrived in Kiev. We ask for continued support from the Ukraine government and the other parties involved, as the team seeks to assist the Ukrainian authorities in recovering and identifying the remains of the passengers and the crew, and with their wider investigation. The world has a moral obligation to ensure that the remains of all victims are recovered and treated with respect. We will play our part in fulfilling this obligation. That is why, later today, I will join the Malaysian team in Kiev, where I will work with my counterpart in the Ukraine government to support efforts to retrieve the remains and to assist with the investigation. I will be joined by the Director General of the Department of Civil Aviation, the Malaysian investigator in charge, and the Chairman of Malaysia Airlines. The CEO of Malaysia Airlines is already in Kiev. On the flight path, on the matter of MH17's flight path, I would like to refer to recent reported comments by officials from Eurocontrol, the body which approved European flights path under ICAO rules. According to the Wall Street Journal, the officials stated that some 400 commercial flights, including 150 international flights, crossed eastern Ukraine daily before the crash. Officials from Eurocontrol also stated that in the 2 days before the incident, 75 different airlines flew the same route as MH17. MH17's flight path was a busy major airways, like a highway in the sky. It followed a route which was set out by the International Aviation Authorities, approved by Eurocontrol, and used by hundreds of other aircraft. It flew at an altitude set and deemed safe by the local air traffic control, and it never strayed into restricted airspace. The flight and its operators followed the rules, but on the ground, the rules of war were broken. In an unacceptable act of aggression, it appears that MH17 was shot down, its passengers and crew killed by a missile. This outrage cannot go unpunished. Once again, Malaysia condemned this brutal act of aggression and called for those responsible to be found and to face the full force of justice without delay. Thank you.
Ladies, Ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, the floor is now open for the Q&A, question and answer session. We will start the questions with the local media first and followed by the international media. So we'll start on this side, please. Stephen, could you pass the mic, please? Thank you very much.
Good evening, Datuk Sri.
Good evening.
Datuk Sri,
Your name, please,
sorry,
and your
this is-
agency.
this is Tasha from the Melly Mail. Datuk Sri, people are now angry with the delay of reaching the crash site. Are investigators entirely at the mercy of the ground forces in Ukraine, or is there any other options? And also, now since we feel investigations are in jeopardy, will Malaysia hold Russia and Ukraine accountable for this?
We are very concerned about the work at the site. We need to retrieve the human remains as fast as we can. There's a reason why we immediately dispatched our team there. They have reached there early this morning, and we hope that we can enter the site as promised by the Ukraine government. Ukraine government has assured us of a safe corridor to enter the site. So to expedite the matters, there's a reason why I will go to Ukraine this evening and hope that I can assist and expedite the matters.
Yes, please.
Datuk Sri Faizal dari Bernama. Soalan saya lebih kepada pasukan penyiasat. Adakah kita dah dapat kebenaran dan apakah status kini daripada pasukan penyiasat kita sama ada boleh masuk dalam masa terdekat?
Pada masa sekarang?
Ya.
Pada masa sekarang kita belum boleh masuk lagi ke kawasan kemalangan tersebut. We haven't got access to the site, the accident site. So we are appealing to the authorities. They have to clear the site, and we need the support of the world to ensure that the site are not tampered. We must have the full access to the site, and we must ensure that those evidence at the site are not tampered, and we also hope that we can ensure that justice can prevail.
All right. The gentleman here, third row. Could somebody please pass the mic, please? Thank you.
Good day, Datuk Sri. Ismail from Bernama. Right. What is the status of the black box? Can you confirm if the black box is now with the Russian pro-Russian separatists? Can you confirm that, since most of the foreign media has reported that? And also, aside from getting into the crash site, what are the challenges facing the investigation team there? Thank you.
There is no confirmation on the black box. we have to counter check on the details. So as of today, we have to counter check this detail, and we hope that we can assist the search and also the recovery at the site as soon as possible. That's why our team are there, and I'm going there so that we can quickly retrieve the remains human's body. Yeah.
Yes, the lady there on the phone. Please could somebody pass the mic over to her, please? Thank you very much.
Datuk Sri, Vardhani from The Sun. Malaysia Airlines has released a statement saying that MH17 filed a flight plan to request to fly at 35,000 feet through the airspace, but this wasn't allowed. Do we know why it was not allowed? And my second question is, OSC was prevented to enter, so what will Malaysia do if we are continued to be prevented from entering the site?
First, I must mention that the areas, the flight, we are supposed to fly at 35,000 feet, but the air control tower asks us to fly at 33,000 feet. So I think we have to obey the control tower directive, and that is the decision. And always within that kind of airspace, that is under the air control tower jurisdiction.
All right.
So if they not allowed us to go to the site, I think this is inhumane. For we are looking at on the humanitarian ground. That's why we are calling the United Nations to assist the ceasefire, and also to ensure we are asking the Ukraine authority to ensure us the safe corridor to the site. And this must be done immediately. It must be done fast so that we can retrieve the human bodies as soon as possible. It's critical. There's a reason why the Malaysian government now is sending me to Ukraine, and hope that we can expedite the work as fast as possible.
Yes, please.
Datuk Seri, Faris daripada TV3. Datuk Seri, betul ke path ataupun route flight tu tersasar sedikit, 45 km jauh sedikit, dan antara tempat disebabkan ada satu laporan mengatakan bahawa pilot sendiri ingin ada depan tu ada hurricane dan nak mengelak daripada hurricane, tersasar 45 km away from that path.
Ya, Captain Nizam akan jawab.
The flight path, the MH17 did not deviate from its flight plan route. There were aircraft, Malaysia Airlines aircraft before that. We confirmed there was no hurricane at that vicinity, and even the aircraft behind it, there's no weather activity. Yes.
Saya nak jelaskan juga bahawa laluan tersebut dengan laluan yang dikatakan bahaya, jaraknya lebih kurang 100 km away. Memang jauh. Kalau kita lihat bahawa kawasan yang diberi amaran adalah kawasan yang di sebelah selatan, laluan kita adalah laluan di sebelah utara, 100 km jauh bezanya.
I also like to add, before MH17, there's a Thai international aircraft flying in that area. Uzbek, there's Singapore Airlines as well on the same route.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, there are more than 15 flights, airlines from the Asia Pacific region using that route. So it is what I call a very busy highway. Just like we are talking about highway. I'm traveling from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore. The highway is clear. The highway is safe. I'm driving down to Singapore. Then halfway, the bridge collapsed, and I'm the victims. So can you blame me on that? So we are actually traveling at the route approved by the ICAO and also the Euro Control Tower.
Momen ada tak misal tu ada siapa yang menyatakan mereka bertanggungjawab, Russia or Ukraine itself?
Kita sekarang yang paling penting kita nak pastikan siapa yang menembak kita. who actually shot Malaysian aircraft, MH17. And that's the truth that we want to know. And we want and we demand justice.
Okay, we go on to the next question, please. Yes, at the back there, please. Chiban, could you please? Just pass the mic over, right? Yes, to the gentleman. Yes.
Thank you, Dato Seri. My question is directed
You're
to
from, sir, could
sorry,
you-
my name is Nigel. I'm from Malaysia, Kini. My question is directed to Captain Isham. I know that the MAS has said the route is safe, but did MAS take any proactive measures knowing that the conflict is there? Did any MAS pilots prior to the incident propose any changes as a proactive action, preventive action?
Okay, we are aware of the tweets and through social media with regards to pilots reporting and reverting to us with regards to the route is dangerous. That accusation is false. There was no report from our pilots. Malaysia Airlines flies our aircraft and anywhere, any part of the world seriously, and safety is paramount to us. So those routes were validated and we ascertain that it is safe to fly.
Yes. At the back there, please. The third one, yes.
Hi, I'm Sulin from Awani. Just to check, to get on record, the MH was supposed to fly at 35,000 feet, right? But was instructed to fly at 33,000 feet, just 1,000 feet above the restricted airspace. Just want to get on record. Is this a normal thing to do, to fly so low towards the restricted area? Maybe. Okay, and also secondly, the ICAO said that it's not their job to warn about dangers of missiles, and it's a duty of individual nations. So has maybe Malaysia came up with such advisory over this airspace?
I'll answer the first portion with regards to altitude. Yes, all operators will file the aspirated altitude they want to fly. For this example, at that position, Malaysian Airline 17, we plan to fly at 35,000 feet. However, when the aircraft is at the location, there are other traffics, right? That the air traffic control at Ukraine is managing doesn't permit Malaysia Airlines 17 to climb to 35,000 feet. So the next best altitude, they were given 33,000 feet, which is above the altitude which is we were not allowed to fly. So that's how they end up at 33,000 feet. And with regards to
ICAO.
On your second question, ICAO is the highest policy making body in the civil aviation. They set out the standard and recommended practice in the 19 annexes that they produced under the Chicago Convention. So each country, each of the air navigation service provider, if there's any conflict, any dangerous situation on ground, then they are responsible to come out with a notice to airmen to warn the industry that there are certain areas that have any conflict or any dangerous situation. So it's up to them. But this country must comply to the protocols of the ICAO.
So ICAO is the international authorities overlook into the whole airspace policies. So the air control tower is the one who ensure that whether any aircraft can use the routes. So once it is cleared, before the aircraft can take off, they must have a clearance from all the air traffic control tower. And as long as it's cleared, then only the aircraft can take off, and it is approved routes, as I've mentioned yesterday.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's for the local media. Now we go to the international media. Yes, please, sir, we'll start with you.
Thank you. I'm from Xinhua News Agency of China. My question is, what kind of measures will be taken to ensure the investigation work to be fair and objective? Thank you.
We are asked for an independent investigation team, and we actually we are invited by the Ukraine authority to send in the accredited experts, and we have sent in 2 persons to help in the investigation. So we hope that the investigation into this tragedy can complete as soon as possible.
Yes, please, the gentleman behind there. Yeah.
Minister, hi, Siva from Reuters. Just to follow up on that ICAO question, I understand what is being said here, but several other airlines from other countries diverted out of their own will. They said that they will not fly over this particular route or this particular area. Korean Air, for example, Qantas, and others. So my question is, did Malaysia come up with anything that would warn its airlines not to do it? Did Malaysia Airlines come up with anything that would give them any warning? Are you planning to set up anything that would give you early warning that would allow you to not fly over any area that's not secure? Because in this instance, while you say that some airlines did fly, others avoided it because there are security people said that that's not safe.
First and foremost, Qantas doesn't fly that route, right? Because they fly to Europe via Dubai. They have one flight. Correct. And Korean airline, it will be non-economical for them to fly that route because it's a direct, is going south and going back to Korea.
There are other airlines which
correct.
avoid it as well.
Correct. Those decisions are made based on threat analysis of each individual airlines, right? For Malaysia Airlines, our threat analysis says it is safe.
So you conducted your own threat analysis?
All airlines conduct their own threat analysis.
And it was safe?
Yes.
And what about the Malaysian government?
Yeah, more importantly, we are also guided by the ICAO. We are guided also by the country concerned. The authority in every state will advise the Malaysian government. So as far as we are concerned, we abide by the international rules.
Yes, your question, please, sir.
John Sparks, Channel 4 News. If you were guided by your own threat analysis on that route, then did you make a mistake allowing MH17 to fly over eastern Ukraine? Do you accept that you made a mistake?
No, I believe we did not make a mistake. The notice to MN was published at position Tama on Alpha 87. Restriction is surface to 32,000 feet. We filed for 35,000 feet, and the air traffic control gave us 33,000 feet.
Yes, the gentleman there, please.
Thank you. Mark Stone from Sky News. We understand that your Prime Minister has spoken to the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Can you give us a sense of how that call went, any of the content of that call? And can you also convey, if you can, the mood of the Malaysian people as you come to terms with another catastrophe so soon after MH370?
Yeah, Malaysian Prime Minister Dr. Sri Muhammad Najib take a proactive action to ensure that we can recover the human bodies as soon as possible. It is a tragedy for us, and we are taking a lot of actions to ensure that we can recover the human remains. So my prime ministers have contacted many leaders over these 2 days, including Ukraine Prime President, and as I said, Mr. Putin. And most important, in the conversation, we have emphasized that we are appealing to the world to ensure that we have a safe path to enter the accident site. We wanted to retrieve the human remains as soon as possible. It's very critical, it must be done immediately. So the clear passage for our people, our team to move in. And it's a reason why, and my Prime Minister also called Mr. Ban Ki-moon, we call David Cameron, call many world leaders to give the assistance so that we can actually have a clear path, a safe site to enter the accident zone.
The world's eyes appear to be on Russia and on Vladimir Putin. Did you get the assurance, did your Prime Minister get that assurance from Vladimir Putin that access to the site and the help of the Russian government will be given?
They are trying their level best to assist Malaysia to ensure that we have a safe site.
All right, we'll go on to next, please, right in front here.
Tom Phillips from the Daily Telegraph from the UK. So if the people behind this act of aggression, as you said, were here in front of you now, what would be your message to them? What is your message to the people who committed this outrage, please?
I think we have to appreciate life. It's crucial that we must respect life. We shouldn't take life for granted.
How do you feel about those people? If they were here to you, what else would you say?
We must stop violence in this world.
Sorry?
Stop violence. It's inhumane to shut down and commercial aircraft.
How do you feel about those people?
It's very painful. We are very, very sad. We are angry over these matters.
All right, we'll move on. Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Jason from the Wall Street Journal. Before today, the Prime Minister, as well as Mr. Ishimuni just earlier, has refused to apportion blame, and you said just now that it appears, I'm quoting you, it appears MH17 was shot. Does it mean that Malaysia accept that MH17 was shot down by a missile, and there's and do you accept this explanation? Is this the official position right now?
Yeah, before the investigation